and welcome back to Episode Club. We're back with Episode Club, yay! And today we're going to be talking about Carnival Row, Season 1, Episode 1, Some Dark God Wakes, and Episode 2, Asling. And joining me today is one of the, founding members with me in Episode Club, Johnny B. Crazy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. Kind of excited to talk about this fresh new show deep into the fantasy world and pulling some ties from, Jack the Ripper and lots of real fantasy. Surprised to find out that this doesn't have a book behind it. It was just an original script for a movie, but we'll get into that. Yeah, it's pretty good. I would say, like a lot of people have been saying, kind of predictable, but I'm kind of excited for season 2. Lots of stuff's gonna pick up. But go ahead. Thank you for having me on, Sasa. It is yeah, it's awesome to be here.
No problem. So, yeah, we're kind of back with Episode Club. We took about a month break from it to do some other things and to work on the beginnings of Derriere Debates, which we'll talk about a bit later. But yeah, we picked up on Carnival Row, which is on Amazon Prime if you haven't watched the show and you're just here because you love us and want to spend about an hour or so with us. So, Carnival Row. How did you hear about this show? For me, I think I heard about it through you, Johnny, because I don't have, or I don't, I didn't have Amazon Prime, and I didn't really know about this show. It wasn't something that was on my radar. And then once I kind of found out about it and knew kind of the premise, I was like, hey, I'll try anything. I've come to the point of wanting to try anything in terms of TV. So, yeah, it's a good show. So, how did you hear about Carnival Row, Johnny?
How did I hear about it? I think I saw it on not on just social media. Pretty sure I saw a preview for it come up on the Amazon Prime website, which I've been having Amazon Prime Video for about 2 years and didn't even know it, so I've been missing out. But I saw it there, saw some stuff about it on social media, and there hasn't been. It's rare to find a super fantasy that's good, so I'm always on the lookout for that. And yeah, it's ready to go. That's about it. Nothing too exciting. I
Yeah.
could tell you, I don't know, one of the show writers saved my life, and I vow to always watch it or something like that. I don't know. Or I found a pixie in I don't know, in a tree or something. Who the hell knows?
Yeah. So, before we get kind of into more questions, we'll talk about the people in the chat and say hi to them, even though we kind of said hi to them a bit before the stream started. So, Osila Angel is in the chat, as well as Sasuke, Danny McKay, some guy named Johnny. I don't know. He must have slipped in somehow.
Johnny be lazy as hell. It's not like I have 4 YouTube channels and stream every day and then try to do some down. Oh, by the way, Sir Duncan the Tall, the Sworn Sword is almost finished. So be on the lookout for it. It's going to be called A Quickie of Ice and Fire, but it may be about 10 minutes. And you got me with when you muted, I heard no sound. I thought I dropped.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
That's all good.
there's some background noise. Dornish Wench was also stopped by for a second, as well as Bravosi Broadcast. Fegaria is in the chat, as well as
The
John.
fakest of the Arias. Yeah. Go check these people. Go check John St. Baptiste out. Go check out Bravosi Broadcast. They got some great stuff on their channels, and we work with them all the time. They be awesome.
As well as Dark Mother. Dark Mother is somewhere in the chat. Yeah, we got.
Where's this sexy, beautiful chopping you got going on? All right,
Mhm.
have you been working on that? You got to keep us updated, Bravosi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's Bravosi.
yeah. Yeah, we got, I guess, chopping vegetables or something for a recipe she's got going on. But because
Probably an evil plan.
well, Halloween's just around the corner. Um, so we know this show kind of heavily involves fae and fairy-like creatures, as well as a different take, so to speak, on medieval Europe, or I believe they say in the beginning it's like 7th century Europe. So, did you have any preconceived notions about the series? Like, did you when you were watching the trailer, did something make you go like, this is quite interesting, or
Yeah,
like what
so
did you kind of dream?
it looked a little bit like World War One era situation. I didn't know it was going to be as deep into the fantasy. They didn't necessarily play that up as much as I thought they would, which was good. I think Amazon Prime as well, Prime Video. If you compare their teasers and their previews, if you compare them to Netflix, I think Prime Video does a much better job, and they don't give away too much. Netflix will spoil the whole fucking series for you if you decide to watch the trailer. And that's one thing I liked about it. It leaves that little bit of unknown. You're like, oh, what is this? I want to figure out what the hell's going on. And then it's got fairies, man. It's got centaurs. It's got satyrs. So they're not all called that. They have different names for them, and we'll get into that. But it's usually the older what would you call it? It's not Gaelic. It's Scottish. What is it called? Celtic. It's old Celtic mythology is what it seems to be pulled from, which is something I'm just going to have a blast getting into. I'm pretty sure Bravosi can correct me, but if you get into Celtic, I think Merlin is even a little bit into Celtic mythology. In my opinion, Merlin was the representative of the last Celtic priest before, you know, they were shut down by Christianity, basically. Uh, oh, and I think it'll be really fun to get into. The more I think about the show, the lore, the background, even though it doesn't have a big book to where you can find out about this lore, you don't need it. The books have already been written. It comes from history and what, real world
Yeah.
lore, which is, yeah, I think I'm going to be getting into this.
Well, like, I know you're going to be doing some content based off of the show, but there are articles out there which Johnny will use or reference that say that this is somewhat related to Midsummer's Night Dream, which I personally haven't read. I know, shocker, because most people read that in high school, but yeah, it's supposed to be kind of loosely related to that, which will be fun. For me, in terms of preconceived notions about the show, I haven't watched any type of show that involved like darker fairies, like fae type of shows, because I'm like I've been used to like the whole like fairies are good, not like fairies are like can be evil and want to like kill you, and like that kind of like the darker more side of the show. I didn't expect as much as like I thought. I don't know, some people are saying in the chat like what it's supposed to be, like in terms of setting. I thought like yeah, be more closer, but when they said, oh, this is like supposed to be like 12th century or whatever they said earlier in the beginning, I was kind of shocked. I was
It's
like,
closer to Jack the Ripper, but see, like, I'm going to make it. I would say it's pre World War One, but the war setup of it is I guess World War One, and even getting into World War Two. I think that's what they're pulling from. But yeah, like you said, we're saying 12th century. A lot of this is based off the Jack the Ripper slayings, right? And the Fae were only supposed to be in the beginning, wasn't it? Only supposed to be female fairies that were killed. They ended up
yeah.
changing that for the show. It's interesting. That's what I mean. It's got a bunch of different mixed up timelines in it, but it has this realism to it that I think makes the show. All right, I'll shut up now.
No, no, it's okay. So if you don't really know too much about the show, your lead actors in this are Cara Delevingne. I know her first as a model before an actress, and then you also have Orlando Bloom. Cara Delevingne's character is Vignette, and she is a fairy. I guess they call her a fairy or fae. And then Orlando Bloom is supposedly a human.
Well, Oh yeah, I guess we can't get into all that. Never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a human piece of shit who, we found out in these first two episodes that some bitch ain't dead.
No.
But
Um,
yeah, this comes from what was it? That's okay. I can't remember in Merlin. You talking about the TV series? I can't remember what the fucking fairies were like, but these are traditional. What you would think of as a fairy, but they're life size. They're not small at all. And I know the traditional fairies, like in Celtic lore and stuff, those things are scary, man. They're not like Tinkerbell or anything. So, yeah, hashtag no spoilers. We don't have any spoilers yet. But,
no.
he is a lion bastard, you know.
Yes, because it's in the second episode because it's kind of slightly told. This show has like duo timelines. There's like the current timeline, and then there's a timeline about 7 years in the past as well. Um, and Orlando Bloom's character, his name is Philo, and Philo, I can't remember pronounce the entire name. Philodorphin?
It's Rycroft Philostrate.
Oh, yeah, there we go. There you
They
go.
have some funny names, but I think Philostrate was in one of the in a Shakespeare play. I don't remember if it's Hamlet or what. But keep going.
And yeah, there's a detective, and the show's title, Carnival Row, comes from the I think it's the most dangerous street in the burg, because most people don't want to go down that
What
road.
is the Berg, by the way? I think that's something we should get
So,
into. This is the main city. You would call it possibly even London, England, and I'll let you. Oh, I'll describe it fine then. No, I'll get it. So the Berg, it's epicenter, London, England of. It's the epicenter of what you know as human civilization right now. The world is much bigger, but right now in this first season, this is the center of life as we know it. You have also the pack. Uh, Wait, is it the pack? God dang it.
I think so.
What's their name?
It's
Anyways, it's the pack. It's the people sworn, basically a group of people, individuals with esoteric agenda. No, like the Freemasons. No, but they're hunting down all Fae to extermination. So you even got a little bit of World War II in here, where the Fae represent the minorities that were affected during the Holocaust. And we all know who those minorities were. They weren't white people. You know what I mean? So it's and like Attila Angel was saying in here that um they're taking stuff. Oh, there's also real life political social issues. This right here, discrimination. And I don't want to spoil too much, but also high society, class, money, the haves and have-nots, uh, police issues, police brutality issues, of course. But that's almost in every damn thing, even before we had all of this stuff going on. Not to say that police brutality has been going on since there were police. So that's just happened. When people can abuse the system, they do. It's unfortunate, but it happens. The few
yeah.
ruin it for the many, as all times. You want me to shut up on my diatribe, Sasa?
No,
Okay.
no, it's okay. Yeah, because you got the Republic of the Berg, and um, yeah, you get Philo, and he's trying to be like the good guys, because there's some people, I guess, in his brotherhood.
Good guys.
Yeah, there's people in like the brotherhood that are kind of going after the people who are not human, because in the Berg there are people that have kind of sheepish like features, because they have like horns and hooves, and the humans are like to be evil against them or try to taunt them and torture them. And one of the first scenes I believe that we get with Philo is his investigation of a hate crime and how someone was brutally assaulted by a human, and that's for most of the first episode storyline, him trying to find that out and trying to figure out who this person is and what they're doing and bring them to justice. But that comes after we're introduced to Vignette, who's Cara Delevingne's character, and she tries to do the right thing, but it goes quite wrong very fast. But we can talk about that if you want. What happens? Because it's in the beginning before even the titles roll. So
So she's basically running a not so underground railroad, getting Faye out of there. I'm sure she tries to be secret. It seems like that's her job and what she's lived for since the war. And why she's here, we don't necessarily know yet. We know she thinks her lover has died, the picture she has the whole time. Um, and you could say she's doing humanitarian work, but I think it's one thing being okay with dying and a little bit upset. Your lover's gone forever. That's what you think. And well, while you're still here, you're going to try to do the best you can because with something like that, she even had, you see the widow's braid. It's the little braid that she holds on and touches while she's thinking about him. And she's never going to love another, right? So she doesn't have that opportunity for love anymore. It's kind of ruined her in that aspect. And we get started off just fairies getting murked everywhere. There's even barbed wire above the trees, like where they can't fly away. I mean, these things have uh, the pack. I think that's what they're fucking called. I'm gonna keep calling them that. Has even has these werewolves, which we'll learn about later in the episode. These dogs on a leash that Vignette kills very bad in a very badass way, chokes them out, and even though she does that, all her efforts are in vain. The people she's trying to save die, and she gets away, and she fucking decides she wants to go to the Berg. She's got friends there that we find out later, and Tourmaline, who I just fucking love. Tourmaline, she's fucking hilarious, and she gets on that shipwreck and
yeah,
ends up having to become an indentured servant, which is basically
the
you have to
soul.
work to pay off your debts or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
Close to slavery. It's pretty close.
as well. She's the sole survivor of that shipwreck, as well, and the police, so to speak, want to question her about that because she's the only one that is the survivor of the shipwreck, and because of this, they call in the ship's owner, who happens to be, if I remember correctly, so what's his name? Ezra Spunrose, and his sister Imogen Spunrose, who actually Imogen Spunrose is Tamsin Merchant, who actually, fun fact, was supposed to play Dany, Daenerys Targaryen, but she dropped out for, I think, the Tudors, or she was around. So yeah, to play Catherine Howard, I believe. So I don't know if that's exactly why, but around the same timeline is when that was going on. But yeah, so they got called in, and there's some secrets about that because those are two characters that we get to meet, I believe, in the first episodes as well, and that's where Vignette has to go, pay her debt to
Yeah,
the Spiders.
Imogen.
Yeah, so
And her creepy ass brother, yeah.
Ezra, which again, that name only has shown up, I think, personally for me in TV shows, like twice. One on Pretty Little Liars with the teacher. So
Well, this is an interesting setup. We get a look into high society, but they have just lost everything. They're the owners of the ship, like you were talking about. That's who she's indentured to, and they've, like I said, lost pretty much everything and looking for another investment. They lost their father's money. This is a brother and sister that seemingly rely on each other and were counting on the money that they grew up with. And they're somewhat desolate and desperate. They're on their way into a decline, and then does the Puck move in? The Satyr move in the first two episodes?
He moves in, I think, the second episode.
Okay.
There's rumor. No, I think
Just
it's the end
rumored
of the
about.
first episode. Yeah, there's rumors in the first episode, and he moves in the second episode. I think. No, it's at the end of the first episode, and then it's that more or less plays out more in the second episode. Where?
Yeah, so you have this as you have this, what would you call, minority move into this rich neighborhood, and it causes this crazy uproar. This is one of the beautiful parallels. Some of them are a little too on the nose in this show for me. They get a little too literal with it and not as subtle as they should be. But I like this aspect. And let me see if I can remember old buddy's name. I got to look at it real quick. Yeah, Agreus,
Mm.
that's his name. And man, this dude is suave and dapper. I really come to respect this guy. Uh, he has moved up in society in the world of humans, not belonging there. But you know what? He's worked his ass off. He's did some unspeakable things that you will learn about later. And he has clawed his way to the top. This is a powerful and dangerous man. I think this is a person not to be, I guess, trifled with. This is one of
Mm.
the, you know, only words I can think of, because that's, he's really smart. He really just I won't say too much because we
Yeah.
learn about him throughout the rest of the series, and he's one of the more intriguing characters to me that I want to know more about in season two. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
second storyline that is.
Oh. Uh oh. Oh no.
Damn it, I dropped, of course.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, because with this whole storyline with Imogen and Ezra, we find out that Imogen is not as young as presumably she's supposed to be. It's revealed that she's 23 years old, and by this standard in society, especially which because she's in the upper class, she's should have been expected to be married by now, and probably have a few children. So but who knows? Maybe it's because her brother has not enough dowry to pay somebody off to marry her, or whether or not that storyline is also quite interesting because when they go and meet, um, I just lost his name, next, because they have him investigated. In the first episode, they're like, "Oh, he's moving in," and then they have, I think, their father's like investigator go investigate who's moving in, and doesn't find out much information. Um, so when they see him for the
Ah,
for
yeah, he's really rich.
um, when they go and meet him for the first time, they think that he is just a servant of the household, because he is not human, or fully. Yeah, he's not fully human, which shows again to its discrimination. But I think you kind of this is leading into like more of the third episode, but you kind of see how that whole storyline shifts a little bit, um, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, they don't have money anymore, so they don't have the upper hand.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't know it's shifted yet, really.
Mm-hmm.
They're just gonna plan on playing this normal dude like a fiddle. He's anything but normal.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I can't wait to find out more about them.
yeah, it'll be.
She does put this concoction behind her ears that she gets from the row, which we'll
Mm-hmm.
talk about what it actually is later. She thinks it's a mixture of like herbs and magical shit or whatever. Uh, you know, it may or may not be what it is. But this is supposed to, if a man gets close enough, it's like pheromones. It's supposed to make her irresistible. and this is why she pays so much for it. This is why
Mhm.
Vignette uses it. She's like, oh, I know what this is. She pours it all out because any woman that's going to have that, they're going to want to use it. You don't just buy that for it to sit around. It's not like a expensive bottle of perfume that you never got around to putting on. No, she's trying to go out and get a man. She's been trying to go out and get a man, like you said. And, well, Vignette knows what to do. She pours it out and then goes down, like, huh, hey, go get me some more. So it's pretty, um, little classic move there.
Yeah, it's
Dark Mother.
Dar-
Hello.
Dark Mother says Carnival Road made Dark Mother State angrily ask what kind of friends would recommend this. With some cry laughing
Dark Mother,
emojis.
what's wrong with your date? Okay.
But yeah,
Your
this
date does not like fairies? What's wrong with him? He must not be a real man.
yeah.
Love you, Dark
Well,
Mother.
well, they go with Vignette um and Imogen. That relationship is quite interesting because
It's really gross, Otila.
um yeah, because there's because with Vignette being in service to the household, she has to wear clothes that keep her wings close to her body. They're not exposed.
Strapped down where she can't get them out. Like it's a corset that goes around her wings.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, he didn't like all the murders and the livers being missing from the bodies, Dark Mother?
Yeah. The his yeah, I think um but she kind of has that going on, and then she is able to escape, and she goes and finds her friend Tourmaline, who is like kind of your Roz sort of type character. Um
Yeah,
and
that's a good one. So she's got some nice teal hair and looks exotic because she is a fairy, for Christ's sakes.
mhm.
And what is this show? We have fairy whores. But no, it really shows what people have to do. This isn't really a spoiler. We find out
Mhm.
later that Tourmaline, she didn't grow up to be a whore, which I don't think most do. And
No.
you see why, that might be one of the most profitable jobs in the row.
Mhm.
Honestly, it's probably the most steady income. All them uh, rich humans trying to come get them some fairy tang.
Yes. And one of the people that is one of the highlighted clients in the first step, or is it the
No
second episode?
spoiler, Sasake.
Um, the yeah, one of the highlighted clients in this is um, the Chancellor's son, but the who actually some of you may know if you watched The Expanse. His name is, if I can pull it up correctly, it's Albison Breakerspear, also known as Jared Harris, who is in The Expanse as another chancellor, if I remember correctly. Um, so
Is
he's,
Anderson Dawes.
yes, there you go.
He's the OPA rebel leader.
There we go.
Voila. Pom pow.
Yeah.
Delta
So
Wilder. Delta
there's
Wilder. I can't even do it right now. Go ahead.
Delta Wilder. And someone else you may know plays his wife, and her name is Paiti Breakspear, also known as Indira Varma, aka Alaria Sand. So she's also in this TV show, which
Oh, okay. Let me just go ahead and say, as soon as I saw her ass, I was like, yep, she the bad bitch up in town. I was like, instantly, more than likely, she's the one of the bad guys. And then, she kind of fooled me a little bit with being this caring mother, but she's did this in other shows, okay? And this one, I have to say, what she turns out to do, which we're trying not to spoil too much, chat, that she's pretty badass. Okay, that's all I'll give you if you haven't seen it yet. And very sick and twisted, But what's
Hmm.
new for Alaria Sand?
And they decided that instead of having a dog or a cat as a family pet, they have a bear. So, yeah, that's. I wonder whose decision that was. Maybe it
They
was.
had a bear. Elia of Sand knows how to get rid of. Like her husband has a bear. She doesn't like that bear. Now to get rid of it, tell her husband she needs to sacrifice that bear for him to gain more power, for him to get his fortune read. Lady Laura Dane Starfall, what is good, yo? Nice to see you. Big old hearts and shooting stars. The more you know.
Yes, so we got those. I think we got most of the storylines covered, or at least the main players in this. Well, there's also Al, the son, who's Jonah, I believe his name is.
Jonah, yeah. He really likes tourmaline. I can't
Hmm.
blame him though.
And well, his father basically says, "Don't go to Carnival Row. Don't go and visit all the bad people." But what does a probably teenager, early 20s do? Be rebellious, and he goes and visits the lovely ladies, the lovely lady fairies of the night,
I'm not gonna
and
lie, it looked pretty enticing. I mean, I would like to be flying around while I'm making love to a fairy. I mean, come on. That's what I call fantasy right there. Give it to him. Hold on, I gotta clap a little bit. A little golf clap.
some golf
Okay.
claps.
I don't love sex scenes or anything, but that was pretty good. That was
Pretty,
good.
yeah, that was pretty interesting. And wait, we're missing one more storyline. This is more of Philo's backstory, but we can talk about it in a second.
Also, oh yeah. Well, yeah, we'll talk about Philo in a second.
But they go and visit. Basically, Tourmaline gets a visitor, um, and it's one of those conversations that she has with one of her friends. I can't remember her friend's name, but it's like, do you want to deal with him or do you want me to deal with him? That's kind of like how that sort of is breached, and she's like, oh, I'll take care of him. So, which is quite funny. And when he obviously shows up, um, it's like, which one are you looking for? And like that one. So yeah, that they do have some the sex scenes in this show come quite abrupt. It's like there's not really much, except for that one, the first one that they show. It comes quite abrupt, but then it just the other ones it's like eh. But I think they did very well um, with this, and I think we're doing. They did that quite tasteful for a show that is on well a streaming service. So,
It's
but
pretty
some
good. I've seen some. I'm telling you what, I've been watching a lot of shows lately, and I've seen some rough sex scenes, man. Just some. I don't think they give a shit anymore. Hey, you guys act like you're fucking. Get it on the first take. Or something. Like it's getting interesting what they're trying to do with it. I think they're trying to get too edgy sometimes now, and it just doesn't translate that well. If I want to get edgy, just go watch a porno.
yeah, and you see like the butterflies. I almost called them butterflies. The fairies, um, with their wings and stuff when they are in a moment of sensual bliss. I guess that their wings start to kind of glow a little bit. Which is if you watch the Cylon Johns. Hopefully they don't have the glowy spines though, like on Cylon
I
Johns.
do want to say this though, Sasa. I want to have you on my channel. Anybody else that wants to like y'all need to hit me up there if y'all want to come on a damn podcast or something like that. But I want to do the real life lore of Carnival Row, and we'll do a
Hmm.
presentation live stream if you'd like to come on. So I'm gonna go ahead and announce it now because I'm digging the lore. The show's pretty good. I hope it gets better, but I'm digging the lore. Oh my god, yeah, Sasuke, Spartacus. Holy shit. That's like I don't know, it's just like weird 300 sex, but
Yeah,
not even but even weirder.
yeah.
What was I talking? Oh yeah, the actual real life lore
Hmm.
of, that's what we'll call it, the real life lore of Carnival Row. We'll do a live stream on that.
Hmm.
I think that'd be
I
fracking awesome. We can
believe.
have people
Yeah.
on that don't even watch it that are, if you know Celtic mythology, uh, yeah, let me
I
freaking know.
I believe this show is filmed in Croatia, if I remember correctly. So, which is quite interesting. Um, yeah, and they're already filming. They already were greenlit for season two before season one came out. So, um, yeah, we can look forward to that. And there's already speculation on whether Katy Perry's gonna show up in season two, because she is the fiance of Orlando Bloom. So that should be quite interesting. And but we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. Um, so I think the last kind of character that we can kind of introduce to you guys, if you haven't really watched um, Carnival Row, or if you're beginning to kind of watch it, is Philo. And as we talked about a bit earlier, um, Philo is a detective, and he investigates a bunch of assaults that have happened on the different people of the Berg, and he has a interesting where I guess it's not Airbnb situation, but kind of, um, and a strict sort of father figure, even though it's not. We come to figure out that it's obviously not his father, but it's his room and board, and the lady's maid, I guess, or the maid of this, and him have a special relationship, which is quite evident in the first episode. Um, but the home life of Philo is a little bit interesting, and it delves into it more later. But yeah, the, what did you kind of think about that situation? Because
Which part? I got lost in the chat. Just give me the last little
the
bit that I missed.
the woman that Philo has a more than friendship with.
Oh, okay. So she is. I guess she's the head of like what you would call a bed and breakfast, but
Hmm.
more so of a live-in apartment.
Hmm.
She's the landlord, so to speak. She cooks for them and all that. Amenities come included. But yeah, he's getting a little Sally on the side with her, and definitely, taking advantage of his rugged good looks. I think he should keep his shirt on, but I'll save that conversation for afterwards. You could see hashtag Weird Knit Party 2020, and just just gotta look at Orlando Bloom. Tell me something's just not slightly off there,
Yeah.
and. I do like the guy though. He's a good actor. I enjoy him in this. No doubt. But I think he's trying to kill some pain with that. I think he really has feelings for her
Hmm.
though too. That is an issue. He
Hmm.
seems to be a lover and a fighter, which I can definitely get down with. I feel his character. This whole time we're seeing him try to be the good cop too. He's not just he's trying to fight for the Fae that are living and being oppressed in the Berg, and this is what they kind of fought for in the war until the Berg actually pulled out. They pulled out of the war, and the Fae paid for it dearly and still are. And it makes you wonder why he's sitting back and he's helping these people when all other humans really just seem to not give a shit about them. There doesn't seem to be much support for the Fae right now, but you find out later it's pretty split down the middle. Actually, you find out in the first two episodes when they have the House of Commons or whatever they're doing in there with the government. Can't think of the proper term,
Mm-hmm.
but it's that weird political system. He sees the oppressed. He has something going with it, but also the whole time that he's the lost lover. So you think that's why he has this affinity for it. You think that's the only reason, but we find out a little more later. Oh, Lady Lord Dane, we're trying to stay on the first two episodes. If you can't help yourself and accidentally spoil, it's okay, but we're trying to stay away from them. I've seen it all. I don't know if Southside's seen it all. I've been
No,
watched it twice.
I haven't got through it all yet because school and life, but I'm trying. I'm on like the fourth episode, so yeah, we go through that. But yeah, Philo is an interesting character, and we've missed the one part with Tourmaline because when she goes, I believe it's in the second episode, or is it the first episode? Vignette goes and sees Tourmaline, and she finds out that Philo is alive, and Vignette realized she was lied to 7 years ago by the mother, like the mother hen of all the the
What would
Fae.
you do, Sasa? Would you want to murder him too? Tell me about it.
Um,
Makes good live stream, so get on it.
it's it would be. I don't know if murder would be like that's that.
So Canadian of you. No, we go straight to murder here in the U.S. No,
Um, yeah, like so
you yeah.
she finds out that he's alive, and that she was lied to, um, and it's quite interesting. Take a shot that happens, and yeah, she kind of like doesn't know what to think because she thought that they had a great relationship, um, that their love could kind of amount to anything, and then she gets kind of taken away by uh, her people because you find out later exactly why. Um, but yeah, the lying and the deceit, um, it's it's quite interesting, and I think that they did it quite well, because she basically flies into his room and like almost wants to cut him, shank him a little bit, but obviously that doesn't happen.
So you're hoping that it would get shanked just slightly, just a little light stabbing, just to pay for what he did, or, you know, did he do it? What did he or didn't he do when he did it? Right? She shows some restraint, still in love with him, but love and hate is a very fine line, and you see that here. Her love for him is what drove that hate to want to kill him, and her love for him is what stopped her. Um, Even though she's fighting it with every breath. I think she does a really good job, Cara Delevingne or whatever her name is, in acting in this for me, especially, I've seen her in other stuff. She was a good actor in movies and things like that. I know you have a problem with her accent, but it doesn't bother me that much. It's just like a really, really light Irish accent.
Yeah, because she is British, so it's like, why, like, you could technically use your own accent but change it just slightly, but it's kind of Irish. I guess that's where the Gaelic part comes in, because Irish,
Yeah.
Gaelic,
Oh yeah, and I
or
think
Celtic.
is the politician on Netflix, LLD? I think it's on Netflix. I've seen it on Netflix, I think.
We could
Yeah.
maybe do that a bit later, because uh, we're going about 2 episodes a week with this, so we might be able to do it after. Thanks, Peter Griffin. Yes, Peter Griffin says that it's on Netflix.
Look, giggity Peter. Okay. Giggity. Okay.
Yeah. We can probably maybe, if enough people enjoy it, we might check it out and do it after this one, after we cover Carnival Row, because we're looking for kind of shorter TV shows to kind of cover for now. So yeah,
Well, I mean, we don't have like 70 episodes to cover in a couple of months, so we're good. We are good to go, everyone. How's everyone out there tonight? Let me welcome y'all back to the chat again. Y'all never left, what? No. Everybody, thank y'all for coming out. This has been very fun, very fun, very
yeah.
nice.
um, so everyone, a couple like two more questions for you. So who right now is your favorite character? Who, when you were watching the first two episodes, was a favorite character of yours?
Oh, wow, that's the first two episodes, my favorite
Like, which storyline was
character.
intriguing you a lot?
Um, at this point, I would say Philo's because you don't really know why he left. You're trying to figure out, you know, why he has such an affinity, and he's such a good dude in a bad system. How has he lasted that long? What secret is he holding on to? Vignette's storyline right here is a little more straightforward. You kind of know what's happening. You know what her suffering is. You know what her plight is. Um, she just doesn't have a goal yet. That's her drawback. But I would say Philo in my long-winded response.
Yeah, I feel like Philo, obviously, because he's the main character, his storyline's going to be stretched out further, but also for like, this is me bending my own rules with my own question, but I also really like Tourmaline's storyline as well because you're getting a perspective kind of like Roz, but you get like because she's in both timelines almost because she's in part of the past, but then she's also part of the current storyline, and she's seemingly connected to both Vignette and Philo. So her trying to balance those two out is quite interesting. I kind of enjoy it. Like, and plus, who doesn't like hashtag fairy flying sex motifs? But yeah,
Friggin' fairy flying,
or
fracking.
fracking flying fairies.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I'd probably pay good money for that experience, and I don't even do that kind of thing. Like
I know,
that's
right?
that's what you call an exotic once in a lifetime experience. But you also call that pretty racist, so I have to go back on that.
Yeah, it's like
Or what would you call it? Speciesist? I don't know if it'd be racist since I guess they're considered different species, but they have to have a lot in common.
yeah,
Um, but never mind. Spoilers ahead.
yeah,
Sorry, I almost said a spoiler.
yeah.
Fly fair and fuck. Yeah, I was thinking that Bravasti broadcast. I was just trying to keep it semi. I didn't want Sasa to yell at me.
No, don't worry about it. Then. Um, yeah, the yes, but how tragic for Tourmaline, so smart and talented, and has to survive. Yes, Tourmaline's uh, story arc in the first two episodes is tragic, but it's also quite intriguing because I believe it's at the end of the first episode, the no, the second episode, that the son the goes missing or is kidnapped, quote unquote. So she herself is the last person to see him before it gets taken. So that mystery is yet to be solved. Dun 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 dun. Um,
Oh yeah, I kicked him in the nuts and put a bag over his head, basically. Um, yeah, the puck next door. I don't know if it's Asmodeus. Hold on, let me see. I got the name right here because you know how we do it. We know. I'm trying to remember like 1,000 names,
yeah.
literally. Agreus. Agreus, if you want to know. That's the name of the puck that lives next door. The guy that's in jail I'm not going to tell you the secret about him, but his name is Darius, I believe. And yeah, that's an old war buddy, which they kind of talk about. So, what happened in that war? What
Mm-hmm.
happened 7 years ago to cause this, the beginning of this long epic fantasy? And I think, buddy cop duo, right? I'm just
Mm-hmm.
kidding. I don't, who the hell knows? It's more than just cops. It's more than
Yeah.
just a mystery. You know,
What?
what's funny is the main plot for the season is really still a subplot for the story.
Mm-hmm.
The Ripper killings or the Jack killings, whatever they were calling them.
Jack. Yeah, things. The yeah rippers. There's like a bunch of videos on it. Um, but yeah, we get that, and other than that, I think that was like kind of like the last. Because my last kind of question that I had was the reaction to the show, like, because there's not that much marketing that's going on with this show, which I'm kind of surprised about. Like, there's not like commercials all the time for this, or there's not a big social media presence about this show, which I kind of find quite interesting. Like, they have like not like other TV shows, like even its own, what is it, like the Expanse has a lot of uh, marketing behind it, while this show it's not so much, which I kind of find um,
Yeah,
interesting.
and they greenlit season two before season one ever even aired, so that's how much confidence they have in the story and want to do it. I mean, there was a fight over this to try to see who would make it, and it was going to be in movie form. They decided to go with TV platform, which is a longer experience.
Mm.
They pretty much have an open world too after the season, and that can be really great or really bad. Depends how good your writers are. I think they got good writers. The only thing for me is they need to learn how to hide surprises a little better
Mm-hmm.
and not spell things out so much.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this show isn't awful at it, but that's its drawbacks. Yeah, it's a little slow sometimes, but it spells out things a little too much for you, and also doesn't hide the secrets very well, in my opinion. You're welcome
Mm-hmm.
to disagree with me on that. Anybody?
No, no, I think like the first two episodes, what it's kind of for me personally, because all the shows that I've been kind of watching lately, barring like the comedies or whatever, is the world building, which kind of in the first two episodes, it's a lot more about the characters than the world building, which for a fantasy show trying to be kind of sort of middle to high fantasy, that you would think that there would be more like background and more story development in terms of that versus character to character storyline development, just to help build the world first, like a little bit more. Because yes, we know that the humans are the bad guys, and then you got the pucks, and then you got the other type, the Fae. So it's like that's important, but what about it? Like, what's the great distance from that Vignette had to take from Arrow to the Berg? It's like, how long was that? Was that months? Like,
Hmm.
it's that small building.
Attila, I don't know how far Leonard Bloom's name actually goes, but I know there was a big fight over this before it even got on Amazon.
Yeah,
Like, there
there's
were people clawing for it, and it was because of the actual script itself.
like
Now Orlando Bloom, him backing it, that fucking really helps. And whatever they showed for season two, to the room up there, whatever they showed for, it had to be impressive, I think, because it seems like Amazon Prime is pretty fucking strict on what
with
they
their
put
money.
out.
Yeah.
They're not like Netflix. Netflix has a lot of duds. Not gonna lie, I do love Netflix, watch it all the time, but they have a lot of duds. But you're right. I mean, Orlando Bloom's does that definitely helps when you have a big name actor like that sign on. You're gonna get people watch just for the Q rating.
Yeah, and for his, because he is the main actor in this. Um, so yeah, you're gonna have a lot of people watch it. But Lady Laura Dan, yes, we're gonna be covering this, I believe, next week, and we're gonna do episode 3 and 4, kind of like this format, more loose, not as rigid as we were the last couple of episode club series that we've been covering. Just kind of be more, relaxed because we kind of go um, hard on the details. But yeah, I think it's. But going back to what you were saying before, it's like Orlando. It's because you have Orlando Bloom's name attached to this so heavily that there's a reason why they probably greenlit the second season before the first one came out. But is that
I'm telling you, it
smart?
had to be a good script. I mean, you had Guillermo del Toro fighting to make this. Like
Mm-hmm.
big names. They ended up going with somebody smaller when they decided to make it a show instead of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know. I'm very excited about it, especially because and season one isn't why I mean season one's partly why I'm excited about it, but how the story and the world building is leading up to.
Mm-hmm.
There's like we were talking about, there's things to complain about, but still good.
And then
Anyways, yes.
Bobby is in the chat. Bobbi Catalano, there's my fellow Cylon Jill, joined us in the chat. Um, go check out Bobby's channel. Um, she posts like a video every day. Um, they're not too long. They're like maybe a minute at a time. But yeah, Bobby Bobby does some awesome stuff.
Oh, so that's okay. I mean the shows they actually produce, not the ones they buy in bulk. I mean they're actually original produced, the Amazon originals. Like compared to the Netflix originals. I'm sorry, I should have actually clarified that. Thank you.
Yeah. Um, that's
I'm not talking about the movies. Yeah, I'm just talking about the original series
yeah.
that are made by that company, which isn't as many when you actually look at it.
O- Otila Angel says, I think name goes far for ratings, and because for some people who like fantasy, he will always be Legolas. Yes. Yeah, so there's that fantasy element as well. A lot of people, I know, Johnny, you're probably going to talk about this in a video if you make one about Carnival, but a lot of articles have been saying that this is going to be like Game of Thrones. I
Oh,
This doesn't really
okay.
hold to that,
Can I
and
go on a diatribe? Oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
no,
All right.
go ahead.
All right. No. Okay. Completely different. Don't know what the fuck they're talking about. If you like Game of Thrones, doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna like this. The story. I mean, there's not a fucking throne for one. There's no fight for power. This is more of a struggle against oppression and the horrors of war. Now, that's where you can compare it to the horrors of war. But that's it. You can compare a
Mm-hmm.
billion shows to that. And it's never going to pick up like Game of Thrones did because it's not a weekly show. You don't have to wait for each episode. Peter Griffin said it good. These episodes blend together. They really, really
Mm-hmm.
do. I'll be watching it trying to prepare for this, and I'll be halfway through episode 3 and I didn't even know episode 2 was over. You can't have theory crafting except in between seasons, and you can only go so far with that. That's what I think. You don't have as much time to sit there and salivate over it. I don't think it'll ever be. It's going to be hard to capture lightning in a bottle like Thrones. Like even if a show's as good or better than Game of Thrones, it's still going to be hard to capture that lightning in a bottle.
Yeah,
That's
the
my
only
opinion.
yeah, like the only Game of Thrones related thing is that Ilaria Sand is in it, and Tamsin Merchant was original Dany. That's the only like real Game of Thrones thing that they should be making articles and relating those two shows together is that there's characters a character from Game of Thrones in it, and that um a would have been character is in the show. Like I don't get it.
Oh yeah, Best Orlando Bloom Bravosi broadcast. Best Orlando Bloom moment when he punched Justin Bieber in the face. How dare you say that? I'm a believer, okay? I believe I can fly. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. That was the best moment. He should have been charged for child abuse because isn't Justin Bieber like 12 years old still? That's how old he acts.
Yeah.
Look who's talking. The man child himself, Johnny B. Crazy.
No. If that's the case. As they're looking for the next fantasy hit, like I said, it's not Game of Thrones but it's not Game of Thrones because it's not based on a huge book. Yeah, I think it's based off of like a, yeah, screenplay basically is what this is. So yeah, I think for the first two episodes, it's pretty strong. It's for
Bravosi broadcast. Justin Bieber stole no one's wife. And if he did, he was only complicit in his wife's crime who decided to no. That's you gotta blame the wife and Justin Bieber. So he should have punched them both in the face. I do not condone violence against women. I just had to say that.
yeah, I think the show does very well. And the one thing that I'm surprised about though is that they did drop season, like they already were preparing for season 2 even before the first episode even dropped, which you have to be very confident about.
Oh, I will tell you this. If it ain't good, if it flops, which it could, they won't do that shit again. They won't greenlight a season before the season's over again, I'll tell you that much. I don't know if it'll save them any trouble, but that gives people a sense of complacency that are making the show. You don't want to give anybody an inflated ego that still has work to do.
Yeah,
That's my opinion, though. Yeah,
yeah. Well,
okay.
especially because this show presumably costs a lot of money, from costuming to set design and location because they're in some part of Croatia, I think. So yeah, this show costs a lot of coin. So the fact and the actors, yeah, so they have to be maybe maybe they're greenlighting this because they know they're going to make a lot of money off of The Expanse coming in
Well, you're
December.
getting a Q rating, too. You're going to have Katy Perry on. Orlando Bloom's still there. Cara Delvinier. How the fuck you say her
Delavine.
name? Delavine, whatever. I'm getting all French with it. Uh, she's gorgeous. You know, that's a draw. She's a model that actually can act, which is pretty rare. And she's a really good actor, too. You also going to have other draws there. I'm pretty sure people are going to get guest starring on this. Whoever Orlando Bloom's friends are. Um, maybe Hector from Troy, Eric Bana show up. I'm your brother. You know, something like that. Or maybe he'll turn into the Hulk. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Katy Perry's just a weird witch that sacrifices children anyway, from what I hear. I don't know. I did hear she's a devil worshiper though, like on some real shit. Like there's some actual evidence that she did some weird fucking rituals, but I don't know. That's just down. I like to listen to a lot of crazy conspiracy shit, even if I don't believe it, just because I don't know, it makes me think about stuff, and it's not that serious.
Provost to broadcast, a female in me now hates Katy Perry. I can't even stop. But yeah, Katy Perry's a little crazy. Yeah, all the streaming services are in a content race. They're all spending money hand over fist. Yes, and like I was saying, yeah, I think Amazon already knows that if they don't necessarily reap all the money that they get from Carnival Row, that with the amount of memberships that for Amazon Prime that they haven't gained already for when the Expanse drops, like Expanse season 4 drops, that they'll reap up enough money to replace it pretty much. which that's a new show that I know you're going to be covering a bit. But there was also which I think we're kind of done for now. There was some questions about Vikings and if we've seen the new Vikings trailer. I know I have. I know you have, Johnny. I know
How
you.
excited are you for it? It looks like a lot of stuff a lot of conflict that should have been brought up with Bjorn. That's going to happen this season should have happened last season on his rise to the throne. The people questioning him having to go through any type of hard time. Because this whole season seems to be based on what he was told by his father, and then what he's told people. You know, you basically only learn from your losses. If you're always winning, you know, you're gonna have issues here. And Ivar, of course, has the Rus, which are old school Russians, bad mofo's. The Black Rus too, which was by what they wear. Not anything racial. They
Kind of like the Black
they're
Danes.
gonna invade. Kind of. And I may be getting some shit mixed up by even calling them. They might just be the Rus. Probably messing that up.
No,
Thinking about.
they call themselves the Roost.
Okay.
In the trailer, they call themselves the Roost.
Oh, Lady Laura Dane, there will be Vikings Berserker brunches. Don't you worry about that for sure.
And it's 2-hour premiere on December 4th.
Of course, they're gonna do a 2-hour premiere. They got 20 episodes to give us.
Yeah,
got to get it going.
It'll probably be a 10 and then a 10 episodes again. It'll be very.
So it's moving to Netflix, Peter Griffin. I haven't heard that.
No, it's still on History Channel.
I mean, if it does, I don't know how much more story they have left.
Thought it was canceled. Or like I thought it was done after season 6. But yeah, because you get Ivar. Oh yeah, Ivar's now in Russia and all of these other things. And yeah, I think King McKay dropped a trailer video. So that's another Vikings content creator that does a lot of stuff. And I know, yeah, Berserker Brunch is coming back, which was very fun. Can't wait to go and do another one of those. And I wonder
Ragnar never died, Bravosi. He's in last season. She's gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
At least I heard his voice last season.
Yeah, he's well, there was an episode where he was in it. Don't you remember?
Oh, y'all are having a Lucifer conversation. No, the Lucifer. I gotta watch that show, by the way.
Yeah, Clarissa.
That comes with some traditional lore too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see. Yeah, what is this thing? Yeah, with Vikings. Vikings, yeah, that'll be good. It'll be interesting. It just, I think, yeah, they've kind of run out of story, with Vikings. The only person that will be interesting to see if we even get them in season 6, because I don't think they were in the trailer. I'll have to rewatch.
Floki?
No, Floki's kind of
there.
There's talk about Floki and Ube going to go and try and find Floki, but we're missing the whole Wessex storyline. So you're missing Alfred, and what's her face, the one who is married to Alfred but slept with Bjorn and got potentially pregnant.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever go back to that because didn't well, no, they got their land right at the end.
Yeah, but then they left the land.
Yeah, we'll see that. And I mean, I don't, this is the first half of season 6. Remember, they do 2 halves. They're not going to show you the whole. So that's probably what's going to happen. They'll probably do this Rus invasion. Bjorn trying to consolidate power. Also, they may not show everything in the trailer. Sometimes they'll put out a couple of trailers, and the other trailers show the other stuff that we're not seeing. because Uba's not staying there, was he? No, none of them. Or were they staying there? I can't. Yeah, they're staying there like idiots, which don't make sense. We
Yeah,
talked about this
they're
on
all
the
back in
Record Bunch.
Kattegat, besides
Anyways,
Ivar.
I don't know how long I can talk about that. Yeah, the fight for Kattegat again for the 40th time.
I know, right? The walled city of Kattegat. Let's fight again. Um, but yeah, the
Oh yeah, Bravosi? I will taunt you till the end of time, and Floki's going to be on a new Lady of the Lake series on Netflix playing Merlin. You're dead about it. How come I don't know about this? I need to find out about these things. Okay,
is the Lady of the Lake based off of that Philippa
Arthur.
Gregory book? Because I know there was a book.
No, Arthur. King Arthur, the Lady of the Lake, gave him
Um,
one of the swords, one of his two magical swords.
mm,
Or wait, that one was magical. The other one was just for power. Depends which
which,
one, which story you listen
yeah.
to. But the one he pulled from the stone was just to say he is king. The sword he got from the Lady in the Lake was the
Mm,
actual sword that he derived all his magical
mm.
powers from, or whatever you want to call it. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I know y'all.
But I know, yeah, we kind of covered everything that I kind of listed out, and plus
We did. Bye.
we didn't want to be too spoilery. So Johnny, what's going on with your channel, um, and what kind of streams you got going on
What kind
coming
of
up?
streams I got going on? If I am lucky this week, I'll be at some point. I don't know what day because I got a bunch of stuff going on. Maybe Sunday. The Expanse season 3 and season 4. What's to come? We're going to talk about the actual trailer probably. Maybe not necessarily break it down because there's not a bunch. It just looks fucking awesome. I just want to talk about the Expanse. Got other things coming up too. The What You Gonna Do, George. If you haven't seen those, go check out the last two. Putting together some really good slides, I think, and visuals for my presentations. Been working really hard on it, so if you don't mind, go check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it. Me, AK, Mackenzie, and Bravosi Broadcast were on the first one. Me and Aaron from Bravosi Broadcast did the second one. We got some more coming up. It's going to be with specific people. Southside's going to come on. Whoever the hell else I can find. It's going to be really, really good. Last week, I think it was last week, we talked about Dark Star, Theon, and Jamie and Brienne. It was really good. When is The Expanse coming out? I just had the date.
December 4th, I thought
Oh,
it
yeah,
was,
okay.
or the 13th. No, it's the 13th. I was thinking Vikings. Vikings is the 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got that. And are you doing anything with Dustin tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, I'll be on Top Shelf Fandom with Justin Thomas. We'll be talking about all the new stuff that's coming out, and be a little interesting little timed event to where we have to get out our cases for these new shows coming out before time is up. So it should be pretty interesting. So go check out Top Chef Fandom if you haven't, and set them reminders if it's there.
Yeah, because go support Justin. I know he posted a video last night, so it's on Peaky Blinders. So go watch that if you watch that show. For me, what's going on? So on Saturday, we have Derriere debates around 6. But what I'm thinking about doing is, just because it gives myself more time and it gives everybody else more time, that we may move Derriere debates to bi-weekly, because it's hard for everyone every week to kind of join us. So we're going to go with bi-weekly. This week still, I think we're doing more show specific, and maybe next time we'll switch it up and do more some book characters. So yeah, we're going to do that. We're gonna have more episode clubs like this over the next couple of weeks. So maybe just look for this stream next week, and so on and so forth. There is, we're doing Cylon Johns on Friday, but make sure that if you want to, what am I trying to say? Yeah, so if you haven't voted for Derriere debates, go and vote for round 6. It's still going on. I haven't paused the polling or whatever, so go vote. We got Santa, you got Marjorie, Drogo, we got everybody from last week. Go vote for that. If you haven't made your choice, the link should be in the description, or it's on the Facebook event page. And with that, we'll kind of shout out to the patrons of the channel. So I got Bobbi Catalano, who was here in the chat. Dark Mother also was in the chat. Got Catherine Harding, Nancy T, and I just have to remember because I say it in a specific order all the time. Bobbi Catalano, Catherine Harding, Nancy T, Dark Mother, Katrin C, and the podcast@.com. That family of podcasts. So that's Luke, Melissa, and Abby, as well as Ben, and I believe Bailey will be starting with them, and a few other people are with the podcast. So go check out them and the YouTube channel, because they have separate YouTube channels, but now they're trying to get one together just for one channel. So go do that. I think they put out Harry Potter tonight, so go check out that. But speaking of Patreon, if you do want to support Patreon, this is where I'm going to be putting more of my efforts, because we're going to slowing down a little bit with the live stream. So we're going to do more stuff over there, including I'm doing more book content over there. So we're doing a bit of a book club. We read Dune last month, and I still have to get my book review up. I'm doing more book content over there, as well as some more videos are going up over there as well. I just gotta get the time to put them out. But yeah, thank you guys, everybody, for working on, or kind of asking us almost to cover Carnival Row. It was a show that I was kind of putting off to watch, because I don't know about it, but I think it's good, and I think it's a good show to cover, and I'm excited to see what's next. So yeah, excited for next week. Thanks, covering the 3rd episode, which is called Kingdoms of the Moon, and then the joining of unlike things. I don't know if that's considered spoiler for you guys or not, but yeah. Anything else from you, Johnny, before we say
Not really. I mean, I'll just say good night, everyone, and yeah, go check out Sasa's Patreon. Go support a chick, man. Go support Sasa. Do it now. I want cake now. Okay. No. Good night, everyone. And Peter Griffin, I'm so sorry you got banned because they don't believe you're actually Peter Griffin. There has to be a few people in the world with that actual name, so I'm sorry, sir. And that's probably, well, I don't know if that's your real name or not. It's probably not, you asshole. But we do love you, Peter Griffin. We do love you. Yeah, thank you all for coming out. That was freaking awesome.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, for coming out. Make
Watch
sure
Cylon Johns on Fridays.
Yeah, be sure to like and share it out with people that you know that watch Carnival Row, because we'll be back next week with episode 3 and 4, and we'll just shout you out quickly in the chat. So we got Bravosi Broadcast, Otila Angel, Peter Griffin, Sasuke, Lady Laura Dane Starfall, Dark Mother, Bobbi Catalano was here for a second. Let's see if I missed anybody. And then you got John St. Baptise was here much earlier. Johnny P. Crazy in the chat. And I think that's it. So thank you guys so much. We will see you hopefully on Saturday at 2 o'clock for Derriere Debates round 6. And who knows, Maester Flamin might finally get his backstory, aka Maester Raymond. Alright. Bye, everyone.
Pow right in the kisser.
Bye, everyone. Bye, everybody.
To the moon, Alice.